Okay, so I see that we have a lot of new subscribers probably coming from TKK because he just got a tremendous promotional video for the channel. So I really appreciate him doing that. And if you've been following me for a while, definitely tune in to All About TKK YouTube channel because we're planning to do more videos together and even a live stream. So if you want to ask some questions, we're going to be there probably next week. Okay? So if you're new to the channel and you're wondering, okay, how can I take advantage of all these things and tweakings that I've been sharing if you have a different display? So you might think, okay, I don't have an LG C1. So what I'm sharing here doesn't matter to you. Well, let me tell you that if you have an LG TV, it doesn't even have to be an OLED. You can apply a lot of the things that I've been sharing here on the channel because the LG TVs, they are very similar. They are almost the same. Even on the service menu, I spoke with someone that had an LCD LG TV, and inside the service menu, the sub BC settings, they were the same number, 128. So that's just a curiosity. But even if you have a QD OLED or a different TV, you can see what I'm doing here, which is basically just using some test patterns, trying to understand what's wrong with these games, okay? To fix them, to get a better picture. And if you want to get a more colorful picture, I've shared with you how you can increase that color saturation without clipping the colors, without losing details, how you can get more punch on the picture if you want, if that's what you really want. Because I see that a lot of people are not happy with their TVs and they might be even thinking on buying a new TV. And it is not because what they already have is bad. It's because you thought that you were buying a different experience. Okay, a lot of people, they go into the store and they see these TVs on vivid mode, and then you go back home, you watch a YouTube video telling you, okay, these are the accurate settings and this is what you have to use, or these are the right settings to use, and then you use them and you don't like them. Okay, and that's what happens to me. I use the accurate settings for SDR on this LG C1, and I was returning the TV that day. That was looking like crap, okay? Absolute trash. And that was me coming from an old $25 plasma TV, okay, from 2011. So this LG C1 is better in almost every single aspect. And I was so disappointed. Okay, so instead of returning the TV, I decided to figure it out. So my point is, even TKK on that video where he's happy with the G3, he's saying, man, I'm seeing some things here that look radical. Okay, it doesn't matter what settings he was using. What matters is that he liked them. He was happy with it. So that's all it matters. So I am all about giving you options, and you try the options and go with the options that you like the most. I'm gonna tell you which one I prefer, and you can tell me which one you like the most. I'm going to do a summary and tell you these are all the options. This is my number one, my number two. I'm planning to do that. But at the end of the day, you purchase a TV, you have to be happy with it, and that's all it matters. And I truly believe that the more you learn, the more you are going to get closer to something that it is actually not that technically wrong. Okay, it's a picture that it is actually going to be not very far away from the creator's intent. Okay, although I have to say that I couldn't disagree more with some of the decisions that these creators have on these games. So the creator's intent for gaming, in my opinion, is just, I disagree with most of the things. But what I mean by you getting closer to something that what the creators intended is basically not to have wild colors, okay? Because what happens when you're trying to get saturated colors all the time is that it loses the effect. So if you have a saturated picture all the time, you are going to be wowed by it at the beginning. But when you play for a while, you get used to it. Okay? So when you get used to everything looking spectacular all the time, then it is no longer spectacular. Okay? That's what happens, for example, with dynamic tone mapping or with active tone mapping. When you try it, you just turn it on, the first impression is going to be like, wow, this is better, because everything looks brighter. But if the entire picture looks brighter, then it loses the HDR effect, because the HDR, the highlights being brighter, it gives you that punch. It gives you a better experience, okay? And you will learn that the more you tweak the settings on the TV, the more you try different things, you will learn that actually getting a more balanced experience that is actually not that far away from that creator's intent is actually better. It is actually better. And yeah, just come along in this journey, trying to figure out how to get the best out of your display, and share with me what you like, what you prefer, new things that you learn, and I will use that. And I will make a video, and now we all know better. So that is what I am all about. Of course, I am not planning to keep this LG C1 forever. As soon as I see a TV that actually is a real upgrade that I think that is definitely going to blow me away, I will get it. Okay? But the problem is that this LG C1 has a feature that is a black frame insertion, and it works at 120 FPS. It works at 60, 100, and 120 FPS. That improves the motion clarity in 2.6x. So we're talking about an experience that is simply unobtainable in any of the displays that we have, in any of the TVs we have today, I have to say, because we do have some LCD monitors that have better motion clarity using backlight strobing, and we also have VR headsets that are also better when it comes to motion clarity. But something happened after this LG C1 and G1, then the TVs, they just stopped supporting the feature. So I cannot get my next TV cannot have worse motion clarity than this LG C1. It's just a downgrade, okay? So that will happen, okay? I might have to wait for a 360 hertz, 55-inch TV to get my next TV, but then I will wait for it. So I'm not planning to keep this LG C1 forever. But as long as I have it, I will try to figure out how to keep improving the picture. And we have so many options that it's just endless, the amount of options that we have. But if you have a different TV and you do like to upgrade every year, I'm still going to give you some ideas that you can try on your own TV, because I'm going to explain you. I'm going to tell you, for example, the settings I'm using here on this LG C1 right now to play this game. This is Horizon Zero Dawn, which has a terrible HDR. One of the most broken HDRs, period. Okay? Because the game is trying to output 10,000 nits no matter what settings you're using in-game. And it doesn't have the black level raise, but aside from that, it's just terrible. Terrible HDR. So what I do is I just turn off that HDR altogether. And then I turn on HDR on Windows. And then what I'm doing is I am limiting the black level, because all SDR content on Windows is limited inside that full HDR container. So I know that to get the picture that I'm supposed to get here, I have to limit the black level, okay? So what I have to do is I have to lower this setting here that we have that is called a screen brightness, which is the black level of the TV. So when I lower this screen brightness to 46, I get that contrast back. And I get that near black detail the way I think I'm supposed to get it, okay? And I do not want to force limited range here, because I do not want to affect the whites. I do not want to affect the highlights, okay? The clipping point of the highlights. So then what I do here is I use tone mapping off on this LG C1, and this works for all LG OLEDs, and I think even for the LCDs. And then I go here to this secret menu, 11131111, and I change this master in peak and max CLL to 540 because the SDR HDR slider on Windows is doing a max CLL of 498, so 500. So this is a tone mapping option that is going to give you, is going to push that full brightness of the display on any LG OLED. Even the G3 is gonna push those 1500 nits if you select this option. So then what I'm doing with the colors might look like something very, like how did you figure that out? I explain it using test patterns. So I'm using this color depth on 50, the white balance in 150, and then I'm using this FPS option, which is increasing the color saturation. With this FPS option, you can also increase the sharpness of the TV. So I'm going here to clarity, and I'm increasing the sharpness to 10, okay? You get a sharper picture, it looks very good. And I'm using right now just G-Sync, so I'm not using black frame insertion because I wanted to get a brighter picture this time. So one day I am playing without black frame insertion, and another day I am using it. So that's what I do. So you see how many tweakings just to get the picture that I want today. Okay, and to figure out all those options, that took me a very long time, and a lot of people explaining me and teaching me things. Like, for example, I remember the YouTube channel. He doesn't have a channel, but he's he doesn't upload content, but he has a YouTube page. His name was Joba Must Die. That's his name, Joba Must Die. And he contacted me to explain me this thing, that the limited inside full and all of that, so I could understand what's going on with these games. And that's how I figured out these settings, because of him. And then another one, who I don't remember the name, was the one who taught me that this secret menu, so when you access to this secret menu, someone, I forgot his name because it was a very long time ago, I forgot. I give him the shout out, but I on that video, when I discovered this, I give him the shout out, but I don't remember. So he was the one who explained me that this master in peak max CLL was actually working, because I tried one time and I didn't see it working, but he told me try it one more time because it is working. And it was for this game actually, because this game is trying to do 10,000 nits with the native HDR. So you look at the clouds and they look like clipping is a mess. So he told me try it on Horizon Zero Dawn and select 10,000. You will see how the cloud details, it comes back. And he was right. So that's what I've been doing here, and people help me to get these settings. Okay, someone told me, so now this is what I'm using here, this FPS settings. Someone told me, hey, did you know that when you use this game genre settings, even because when you use these settings, you see that you have a black and a white stabilizer setting. But someone told me, hey, even if you have the black and the white stabilizer on the default 10, the colors are changing. Say, really? I tested that, and yes, they are changing, so I'm taking advantage of that. And someone else told me that the sharpness slider is behaving on a different way when you have this game genre settings. So right now I have the sharpness slider in 10, and if I change from FPS to standard, the sharpness is different. If I change here from standard to FPS, I get more sharpness. Okay? So all these tweakings and all the settings and most of the things that I've shared with you, somebody else explained it to me. So I've built this community over the past year, a community of superstars. I mean, we have the Blurbusters chief explaining me the Blurbusters law. So I can make a video for you guys. That's just mind-blowing. He's probably I mean, he's an eminence. He's the motion clarity GOAT. Yeah, so I mean, this community is fantastic, and that's why I do this, because I enjoy learning all this stuff so much, and I need to share this information so I can grow and I can learn more from the community. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.